Hi, welcome to Claud Yoga. I'm Claud, and this will be a short yoga class, around 30 minutes, that will emphasize the core even more. You know, if you've taken any of my yoga classes, you know that yoga consists of a lot of core workout, but we are going to emphasize strongly the core here. Please make sure that you listen to your body in any yoga class and never do anything that causes strain or pain. But especially with some challenging core work, please know your back and don't push yourself ever to anything that is beyond your limit or that is bothering your body and especially your back. So be aware of how you feel. So come to that comfortable spot once again, as we always say at the beginning of our class. Maybe lift up on your sits bones. And you may want to start out laying on your back with your knees down. So whatever's best for you. This is your practice. Always remember that. Even when you go to an in-person yoga class, always do what's best for you. As long as you stay within the realms of safety, this should feel good to your body. So come to that comfortable spot, that elongated spine. Maybe tilt that pelvic area back by pulling the abdomen back towards the spine and rocking the buttocks down and forward. Lifting through your core, stretching your shoulders down and back. Lifting the crown of the head gently to the ceiling. Take your deep breath in and your deep breath out. Remember to settle. And that not only means to settle your physical body, but also settling your mind, your mental body. So we move from that thinking mind to the listening and seeing mind, observing. So we look within. Remember, as we look within ourselves to know ourselves better, to be more aware of the present, always be mindful that we are not judging ourselves. We're not labeling our thoughts or saying if they are right or wrong. We're just observing, just being with ourselves, finding what's there. Taking time, as most of us don't do, to just sit down and learn how we feel, what we think. Slowing down that breath, taking a deep breath in, maybe even counting to 5 as you inhale, and then exhaling slowly, counting to 5. Knowing that as we continue to move through the breath with our practice, we don't need to continue to count, but doing so initially helps us to feel that rate, that rhythm. It helps us to breathe in sync, to help our body to move into coherence so that the inside of our body can work more efficiently, more effectively. Blood can flow evenly. Systems can communicate with each other better. So again, as we breathe in and breathe out, slowly and in sync, we start to see what's there. As we learn to just observe and not judge, then we will learn not to judge others in our outward life. Observe them, appreciate them, respect them, not judging them. And we come to our emotional side. Maybe just noticing our mood. learning to be okay with whatever mood exists. So learning to have that feeling of contentment. Whatever is there, being appreciative. Understanding it, feeling it, being aware. As you take your next deep breath in, lift the crown of the head slowly towards the ceiling, feeling the spine elongate. Feel the abdomen pull back tautly to the spine. So learn to use your core even as you sit still. Relax the chin, let it fall down towards the chest. Keeping the shoulders rolled back, keeping that elongated spine. Allow the weight of the head and gravity to just pull that chin deeper towards the chest. Feel the stretch moving down in between the shoulder blades. Release through the shoulders, press the elbows and the shoulders towards the floor. Maybe even bring the arms behind you, allowing the tops of the hands to just gently place on the mat. Start to pull the abdomen in deeper and deeper towards the spine as you allow the head to grow heavier and fall down towards the floor. Feeling the back arch a bit more, the abdomen hollow out, the shoulders reach down towards the mat, the head float down towards the floor as much as it feels good. Breathe. Lifting up the head gently, bringing the hands forward to the forearms. Placing the hands one on top of the other, opening up through the elbows so that they're shoulder width apart, allowing the head to fall once again, crown of the head towards the palms of the hand. Pulling the abdomen again firmly back into the spine, feeling the stretch through the outer thigh. Pressing into the hands, lifting the head forward, and starting to open up through the legs. So maybe stretching the legs out from side to side, flexing through the feet here. So reach the toes towards the sky, flex through the feet, open those legs as good as feels good to you. Coming back to that same stretch with the arms. So come down with the forearms. And remember, if that's too much for you, you can press into the hands. Pull the abdomen actively back into the spine. It will be a deeper stretch, however, if you can come to your forearms. Once again, maybe opening through the elbows, maybe putting one hand on top of the other, maybe allowing that head to float gently as close as it can to the hands, feeling the stretch deeper, this time through the inner thighs, the adductors. Opening up through the back. Breathe. Again, pulling that abdomen firmly back, keeping those feet flexed, which helps to activate the core. And then it will also help to activate those muscles in the legs. Walking the hands back up. Bring them back behind you. Press the fingertips into the mat. Start to allow the shoulders to roll back, shoulder blades reaching towards one another. Lift the heart forward. Maybe opening up the chest even more and the shoulders as you lift the gaze towards the ceiling. But if that ever bothers your cervical spine at any time during our practice, remember you can always tilt that chin to the chest. Again here, try to think, especially during this practice as we emphasize on the core, to always pull that abdomen back. So keep it taut, activate those muscles. So focus on your core during this practice, even more so. Pulling that navel back towards the spine. Allow that chin to reach down towards the chest. Breathe. Lifting back up through the chin, keeping your hands behind you, or if it feels better to place your hands on your legs. Allow that right ear to fall towards the right shoulder. Release through that right shoulder so that it's not raising up to meet the ear, but more so that the stretch is in the neck. Lift back up to neutral and allow the left ear to fall towards the left shoulder. Again, rest the shoulders down, making the stretch in the neck here. Lifting back up. If you have tension in your neck, maybe releasing that right ear back down again, maybe taking the fingers of the right hand, placing them on the side, the left side of the head, and gently, gently pulling against, causing resistance in the neck here in that stretch. But again, if that creates any stress or tension or strain, then please release the hands and don't move on to this deeper stretch. Moving the head back up, coming to the opposite direction, taking the fingers of the left hand maybe this time if that feels good. Remember, as you do this, when you start to put slight pressure on with those fingertips, you tend to raise up and scrunch through the shoulder. Relax through that shoulder. The stretch and the work here is not in the shoulder, it's in that side of the neck. We want to really stretch that neck. We want to press the shoulders down. And we don't want to be leaning forward, so stay nice and tall with a good posture here as you bring that ear down right on top of that shoulder. It doesn't have to come all the way down, probably won't. Only coming to where it feels good. And then releasing back up out of that stretch. Come to the mat so that you're long ways if you weren't already before. And find your sits bones. So maybe finding that place where you have to balance just gently. So to do that, we want to lift the feet just off the mat. And as soon as we lift the feet up off the mat, you immediately will activate the core, because the core wants to help you balance. So we're kind of teetering on those sits bones. If you need to bring your hands back behind you, fingertips facing forward, do that. That's okay. I'd much rather you do that and protect that back than to do something that will cause you to hurt tomorrow. If you want to work a little harder and it feels okay to your back, extend your arms to the front here. Pull the abdomen in nice and taut. Hold. Maybe extend one leg out. Keep that abdomen taut. Keep that back as straight as you can. Maybe extend the opposite leg out. Maybe move from one to the other. A little bit of bicycling. Again, remember, this is the same here. You're still working that core. Pull that knee in as much as you can and flex through that foot, activating the core. Breathe. Maybe from here, bring both knees in. Pull the hands in, flex through the feet. Again, lifting through that back so you're not hunching. The tendency is to want to rock back. We want to lift and lengthen through that back and pull the knees in so that it's a crunch. I immediately feel the core tighten. So just as if you're bringing out a washcloth, so your abdomen is really taut, then maybe extend out. Come in with your exhale, open up. with your inhale. Again, keep that back long and tall. Remember, if this is too much, I can be here. I want to keep those elbows back and in close to the body. Still working that core. Inhaling. Exhaling. Keep that core taut. Maybe from here, hold it in nice and tight. If you can, maybe grabbing onto that big toe. Again, lengthen through that back. Then maybe come to your extended boat pose. Holding the abdomen in. Here, opening up through the legs if you can, and noticing how you have to really balance here. Not sure what kind of floor you're on, but if it's not forgiving, be careful if you come down to rock inward, not to hit your head, but to open up through those legs, lift long and tall, which is going to cause you to tighten through the core here. A little bit trickier as you come back to extended boat pose. Now we've been able to hold on, release, which is going to feel a little bit like a little more work. Come back in with your crunch, and then open your legs back down. Come forward into your Paschimottanasana. Now we're young in our practice here today, so make sure that when you come over, wherever you fall, that feels like a good stretch for you is good. Don't press yourself to a point of pain or strain. Always remember when you're bending forward though, it's not so much nose to knee, it's more chest to thigh. So keep that elongated spine. Allow your hands to fall wherever they may. So they may be falling at your outer legs, shins. Maybe they come all the way to the feet. Maybe your chest floats all the way down. Wherever you fall that feels best for you is good. You don't have to look like me or the person beside you. It's the best part of yoga. Make it best for you. It's your practice. On your next inhale, lift long and tall through your core, and then ease back down. Now most of us come down in different ways. Maybe I really want to work, so maybe I want to stay long here and then lower slowly, really using the core all the way down. If that's too much, I can bend through my arms, I can bend through the knees, whatever's better to come down. I may even need to lock my arms behind my knees and rock down. So whatever better for you. But finding your way down slowly to the mat. Now I'm going to show you many different levels of core work here. First I want you to bend your knees. Bring your feet hip width apart. Place your feet as close as you can to your buttocks. And bring your arms bent behind your head. So your head will be cradled in your hands. Now that doesn't mean your hands are pulling against your head. You want them to be cradling the head. So your neck should be comfortable, no strain here. And I want you to press into the feet. Press the back towards the floor. Keep the arms parallel with the floor and lift gently with the chest up to the ceiling. Again, I'm not pulling on my head. I'm just pressing with my fingertips into my head as my head presses against it. So I'm just helping it, stabilizing it, not pressing against that neck in any way. I'm keeping that abdomen taut as I'm looking straight up to the ceiling, and I'm holding it as tight as I can. Very isometric here. Then release out with your breath. Again, these are isometric holds, so we're going to come up, breathe in, and then hold. You can even continue to breathe, and I think that we should continue to breathe, allow that breath to get to the muscles, but even as you're breathing, that abdomen is taut. It's pulling down, navel into the spine. Tight, tighter, tighter, and then releasing. So a very slow sit up here. Again, lift, tighten, tighten, tighter. And release. Now, you can stay here, or if you'd like to move on a bit, maybe to challenge yourself. So every level is going to get a little harder, so you need to know your body. Maybe you want to bring your knees up this time, making the crunch a little tighter. Lift up, hold, hold, hold. Press that lower back down into the mat. Lift, lift with the chest more than the head, and release. Take your breath in, and your breath out. As you breathe in again, lift up. So your elbows and your head's coming straight up. My gaze is straight to the ceiling. I'm pulling that abdomen in taut, taut. My lower back is on the mat. My chest is lifted. Breathe. And lower. Breathe in and out. Again, breathe in, lift, pull that abdomen tight, pull that navel down into the spine. Breathe. Tighten, tighten, tighten. And release. Maybe staying there. Maybe moving on to a little bit tougher. Extend one leg out. Come up. Bring that left elbow to the right knee. Hold. Tighten. 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 Try not to pull against the head. You're just supporting it. And come back. Take your deep breath in and out. Come up on your inhale. Lift. Tighten. 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 And come back. Maybe move to your bicycle. So a little bit of crisscrossing here. And remember, I'm coming up and I'm tightening that core. I'm lengthening the leg with control. So I'm not moving so fast that I'm using momentum. I'm controlling, focusing on the core here. Again, my head is still being cradled and supported by my hands, but I'm not pulling against it. Tighten that core tight. Focus on that core. Press that lower back down into the mat. Maybe even bringing the legs up a little more. Making that crunch a little deeper. Maybe even scissoring the legs here. So again, as we move through each one, they may be a little tougher, so you need to know where to stop and start. Breathing. Nice. Coming back in. Setting the feet back down. Now, this can be really tough, so if you have back problems, please heed here. So I don't want you to do anything that would hurt your back. You really need a strong core in this part. So you may even want to, if this is your first time watching this emphasis on core lesson, you may want to just watch at first. But first, I want you to press that lower back down into the floor. Maybe scoot your feet a little bit further away from your buttocks. And then I want you to bring the arms up into the sky. And then lifting towards the knees, you need to come up, rolling up to the ceiling. Now, you may find that little part where it's kind of like hard to get over that hump, especially if you have an elongated core, like right here, so you have to kind of slow down a little bit. Well, that's okay. You're using the core even more. It's all right. Just don't want you to hurt your back. So if this bothers your back in any way, then I want you to stop. Listen to it. Otherwise, pull that abdomen in. Work your way up. Remember here, we're not rocking up, so we're not using momentum. So it's not this to rock up. You really want to use the core here. So it's very controlled. So I keep my arms up, but then I move them down as I start to come up and lift, tightening through the core. So the core stays tight. Coming up and coming down. Now, if you feel like you can do that, and you need a little bit more challenge, maybe you want to come to a full body lift. So maybe coming here, coming down, lifting up, stretching down, coming up, coming down, coming up, lifting up, coming down, rolling down. You may find that after a while you'll get stronger and stronger, and it will be very fluid. So then you may find that you're just literally rolling up with ease. So you'll be just rolling towards the knee, bring the feet, and coming down. Again, we don't want this to be momentum, so go as slow and as strong and controlled as you can. Reach for those toes. Slow, strong, controlled, using the core. Again, you have to know your back. Press that back into the mat as you roll up Stretch through the back. And then press that back down as you come down. A couple more times, lifting up. If you're new to this, you might want to just do a couple and then work up each day. Nice. Coming back down. Slowly coming down. Tighten through that core. Lifting up through the knees here, giving the knees a good stretch, pulling in, hugging through the knees. Press that lower back down to the mat. Here. Nice. Pressing the feet down into the mat. Pull the feet up towards the buttocks. Knees are hip width apart. And I want you to press the hands, arms lengthwise with the body. Press the hands down into the mat as you lift up the buttocks, lifting through the entire core of the body, stretching and elongating that vertebra here. So we're lifting and lengthening through the body. We want to make a nice straight line with the knees to the hips to the shoulders. We're in bridge pose or Setu Bandhasana. Try to keep your gaze to the ceiling. Try not to compromise that cervical spine, so don't look from side to side. So if you're at home, listen to me. Or if this is the first time you're doing bridge pose, again, sit up and watch. So we're just stretching, and you should feel the core stretch here. Your chest is lifting up as the rest of your body lifts up. Your glutes are tightening to lift, so your body is lifting up so that your chest is reaching towards your chin, not the opposite. So your chin and the back of your neck are not curving at all. And pull that core in as you release down, lowering the buttocks to the floor. Again, bringing a nice hug into the body. Taking that deep breath in and out. Nice. And then rolling over onto your side. So we'll come here on our side. We can take our left side of our arm on our forearm, and we can lengthen through the legs, lifting up into our dolphin side plank or a dolphin arm side plank. Now remember, if this is too much, you can bring one knee down and extend one leg out. So there's always a way to modify. Remember that as you have both legs out, if you're extending both legs, kind of anchor yourself with that top foot. And I'm lifting with that opposite arm, but I'm using the core and really strengthening through that left oblique. Lower yourself down. If you can, travel through with a lift and a lower. So I lower down, I lift up, lower down. Keeping the core taut, keeping that oblique taut. A couple more times. Making sure that elbow is directly underneath that left shoulder. All the way into the forearms and back down. Moving to plank. So roll over onto your abdomen. And we'll start off with dolphin plank. So have your forearms down, your hands together. Now again, if dolphin plank is too much for you, as you curl through the toes and lift up into the plank, then you can always set one knee down. So if you need to set one knee down like this, and then every once in a while, release and lift up. Whenever you need to set another knee down, do so. But the longer, obviously, you stay up on your forearms, elbows underneath your shoulders, the more you're going to gain that core strength. Remember, it's plank, so your body should look like a straight line. Set the knees down. Whenever you need to, come into child's pose. Remember, child's pose is a place we honor the body. So anytime you're doing practice, especially with heavy core work like this, you need to come to child's pose at any time. Do it. Moving back through a few more plank, dolphin plank. So bring your forearms down, elbows underneath your shoulders. Again, curl through your toes. Lengthen your legs. So I'm perched on the balls of my feet, but all the weight's in my forearms. Again, I'm a plank, so I look like a straight line. My hips should be down, my abdomen pulled up. Release through your head and neck so there's no strain there. If you want to make it a little tougher, open up through the legs. Keep that abdomen pulled up. Press that buttocks down. All the weight into the forearms. Maybe move back. Maybe walk the feet up a step or two, coming to your dolphin, true dolphin. Just like downward dog, but I'm on my forearms. Pull that abdomen in, release that head in between your biceps. Breathe. Set the knees down, come back to your child's pose. Come back up. As you come from child's pose this time, curl through your toes, push up into your downward facing dog. Press those heels down. Maybe walk the dog a time or two. Keep that abdomen taut. And then as you're ready, glide down to your plank. So again, if you're in full plank, you look like a straight line. Abdomen pulled up, buttocks pulled down, hands right underneath shoulders. If you're in half plank, your knees are down. You can crisscross through your legs, but you're still pulling that abdomen up, pulling the buttocks down. So my body's still in a straight line from the knees up to my shoulders. Either way. If you'd like to move to full side plank, bring that left hand right underneath the face, and then as you rotate, that left hand should fall directly underneath the left shoulder, lifting through that right arm. Again, anchor yourself with that right foot out in front. Maybe move back down to your plank. Maybe moving to the opposite side. Maybe taking that right hand underneath your face, and then as you rotate to the left, it falls directly underneath that right arm, lifting skyward. You can always make it a little harder, lifting that top leg, if you can, into balance. That makes it a little tougher. Coming back to your plank. Bring your elbows in. Lower slowly, quickly, or hover into chaturanga, and then come down. Stretching the core, lift up your heart into baby cobra. Maybe push into your hands with a little deeper stretch into your back. Into king cobra. Maybe bending through the legs. And then come back to your child's pose. Pull that abdomen, even here in child's pose, up towards the back. Maybe release the hands and bring the hands back to your heels. Release the shoulders down so that they hover over the body like a tortoise's shell. Breathe. All right. Lifting up nice and tall, press the hands down. Bring the feet till you come to your forward fold. And then release, coming up nice and tall. Bring the hands to heart center. All right, having a little bit of crunch, standing crunch here. So bring your hands to heart center and lift up one leg, bringing yourself to standing on one foot. And then bring the knee in as you bring the hands towards the knee. So crunch here. Pull the abdomen in, press into that foot. Pull that knee up as far as you can. Crunch, crunch, hold tight with the core. And then extend out. So you're working the core twofold here. You're crunching as you pull in. Crunch, crunch. Roll through that back, pull that abdomen in, hold tight, tight. And then extend it out. So the other way you're working the core is balance. Anytime you balance, you're working the core. Pull in, crunch, crunch. And then extend out. Nice. Shake it off. Moving to the opposite side. You can do many more of these once you cut off the video. Do as many as you like. Great for the core. So take that left foot this time, stand on that, lift up the right. Again, hands to heart center, start to bow forward, start to lift that knee, and as you lift the knee higher and higher, again, just like bringing out that washcloth, we're scrolling, we're tightening the core. Flex through the foot, which activates the abdomen even more. And then extend out. One foot may be better than the other. So we stretch, and then we tighten. Focusing on that core. Stretch, elongate, tighten, curl, crunch. Inhale as you come out. Exhale as you pull in. Really curl, tighten. Inhale as you come out. One last time, pull in nice and tight. And then come on down. Nice job, winding our practice down. We've done a lot of core work. Bringing those feet underneath your hips, lifting the arms long and tall. Swan diving down, open up through your chest, flatten out through your body. And then release, coming into your forward fold. Now, again, whenever you balance or take your stability off the floor, which is right now, we're helping the body with our hands. But if we lift the hands up and extend them back behind us and raise the back parallel with the floor, the more we raise the back and the upper body, we notice the abdomen pulls tighter up into the spine to help us here in airplane pose. Flatten out through that neck. Make that abdomen tighter, tighter. Breathe. Release the arms down. Open up those feet just a little more than hip width apart. And then start to bend slowly. Pull that abdomen in tight, tight. As we bring the buttocks down, bring the hands up, coming to your squat. Remember, some of us like to be flat-footed here, some may need to be up on the balls of the feet. Just remember, if you're on the balls of the feet, you're working the core even more because you brought balance into play. Bring your hands to heart center. Bring the elbows to the inside of the knee, and then push the hands so that the elbows and hands are flat, so you've caused resistance inside your legs. And then pull that abdomen back. Breathe. Bringing the feet back down. Bringing the hands behind you. Setting the buttocks down, finding our way back down. Remember, if we don't use the arms to come down, we're really using the core more. Maybe we want to lengthen out the legs and use them even more like we did before as we come all the way back down. But if that's too hard for us to use the core in that way, we can always bring the hands behind us or rock back down by lacing the arms behind the legs. So whichever way is best. All right, let's stretch that core that we've worked so much. So bring the arms back behind the head. Lengthen them way out in front, up above your head. Stretch those toes. So the more you point and stretch those toes in one direction and your arms in the other, you feel that resistance in the core that you're creating here. Breathe. So notice that that the lower back is lifted up off the mat, and that's okay this time because we're stretching. Any other time we're moving and working the core on the mat, we want to really emphasize pressing, pulling that navel down into the spine so that we press that spine into the mat to protect that lower back. But when we're stretching and lifting the arms above, it's okay to give that back a good stretch, and we should feel the stretch in the core here as well. Bring the arms down to goalpost arms, and as we do, the back should relax, and then bring one knee in and then the other. Now we're going to do some challenging inversions here. If you're not used to inversions or you've never done them before, just make sure you sit up and watch first. Always listening to your body. So maybe first just starting off, which is something that pretty much everyone can do, up the wall pose. Just lift the legs up. So up the wall pose, you can literally be up against the wall with your legs. You can even take a towel and roll it, put it underneath your back. But just allow the circulation to come back down. Give your heart a break here. Maybe wiggling through the toes, the ankles. But if you want to move a little bit further, remember we're in an inversion on the floor. So when we're always looking to the ceiling. Never look from side to side. Don't compromise that cervical spine. So place your hands alongside your body. If you want to press into the hands to lift you up, that's going to help a little bit. If you want to just use the core, then just lift with the hips without using your hands. So you choose. But we're lifting the hips as they come up and over. So again, if you need a little rocking motion, you can. Or if you want to use your hands up against your gluteus, you can, either way. But we're lifting those hips up and over and bringing the feet over beyond the head. They may touch the floor behind you, they may not. Coming into plow. From there, you can stay there. Or you can bend through the elbows, placing the hands on the lower back, and then just lifting the legs up into shoulder stand. Sarvangasana. Shoulder stand is wonderful for circulation. Obviously, you've inverted the body in the opposite direction. So again, being very mindful, you need to be careful. Just look to the ceiling. If you ever need to sneeze or cough in this position, come out first. So like a tripod, my hands are propped up against my lower back. And I can move my legs all I want here, just not my cervical spine. So keep your shoulders, from your shoulders up still. We usually like to work up to being about 3 minutes because that's how long it takes to totally reverse the blood in the body. But whenever you're ready, it's reverse, coming back out. So just take your feet, let them come back behind. And again, we're lowering, slowly curling to that core, using the abdomen to come back up, to up the wall. Bend through the knees, pull them in. Extend the legs out. And then our counter posture is Matsyasana, fish pose. In fish pose, we're just in a straight line, lying on the floor, and then we start to lift up through the breastbone, just as if someone has a string, and then you're lifting up to the ceiling. It causes your elbows to bend, your head gently props the crown of the head on the floor, but the weight goes into your elbows and your forearms. Good for asthma, excellent for asthma. And then release, come back out the opposite way. Bend back through the knees again, give them a hug. Pull them into your chest, press the lower back down into the mat. Release one leg out and then the other. Come to Shavasana, or corpse pose. Take a deep breath in and out. Allow your body to just be molded by the floor. So just relax, release. Know that as much as your physical body needs rest and still time, so does your mind. So take your deep breaths in and out. Again, initially try to make sure that they are in sync by maybe for the first few breaths, breathing in for 5 and out for 5 until you notice that rate, that rhythm. Remembering that it's both as we breathe in sync. Both meaning it's psychological because we are helping the body calm down. But it's also physiological. We're helping the body to work better internally. As we breathe in sync, our blood flows in sync. Our systems, our organs are able to speak and work well together, creating balance and rhythm. So as you breathe in and breathe out, start to once again come into the present, looking inward, noticing things we take for granted. The feel of blood flowing. The feel of your heart beating. Of your diaphragm raising and lowering. Start to notice these internal happenings that we so often take for granted and don't pay attention to. Start to be present within. as you start to pay more and more attention to the breath. Notice the core and how involved it is in the breath. The abdomen extending as we breathe in and pulling in deeply as we breathe out. The core encasing the center of your being. So we need that to be strong. We use it every day with everything we do. So it's very important to practice core work and to keep that foundation of our body that we use for everything. We need to keep it flexible and strong. Take your next deep breath in, and as you breathe out, feel the abdomen pull back in towards the spine. Start to slowly wiggle through parts of the body that you've kept still, maybe the fingers, maybe the toes, maybe lifting a shoulder here and there, maybe bending through the neck from side to side gently. Whenever you're ready, maybe rolling onto one side or the other, cradling the head in your arm. Noticing again as you've turned onto your side how you may have pulled the core in. So being aware of the core, focusing. As you press into the opposite hand and lift up, notice how your core was strong and tight to help you lift upward. Coming back to that seated position, that tall, elongated spine. Bringing your hands back to heart center. Loka samasta sukhi no vamantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace, joy, love, and light. It's always my wish that you felt each one of those things, not just in this practice, but every time you practice yoga. Know that yoga is a philosophy, a way of life, that is not only during your practice, but that is something that you practice with each step of your life. We never like to end our practice without stating the term namaste, which means the light and life in me honors and respects the light and love in each one of you. Namaste.